This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shake it.
Wake your fuck ass up. That crust out your eyes.
Right now, joining us. She may not even remember this, but we met before on the road.
I remember.
Do you remember?
Yeah, and I'm totally freaking out about Heather B over here because I'm a child of the 90s, MTV,
Yes.
and that was my favorite season of The Real World. So
Wow.
it's already a good morning. Yes.
Meghan McCain has joined
Meghan,
us.
so much. Thank you for joining us.
But people must say that to you all the time, right? I mean,
I like it. Yeah,
Okay,
I like it.
okay.
I'm happy. I'm
Thank
glad.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Now Meghan is a columnist,
Could I turn this down? Just
a correspondent.
Thank you.
She has a new show on Pivot TV, and it's called Take Part Live.
Yes, it is.
Weekdays at 10 p.m. Eastern
Yes.
on Pivot. You and I had a chance to be on the road when.
I met you during the campaign.
Say that again.
I met you during the campaign.
During the campaign, and MTV was following. We were following your father around for a few dates, and I got a chance to meet you. And I thought then you were a very pleasant and outgoing and fun person. And I really enjoyed the interview. I can't remember where we were. I think might have been South Carolina or somewhere.
I think it was South Carolina.
And we went to a barbecue joint, and me and Senator McCain ate barbecue. We ate ribs together, and I got a chance to sit and speak to him. And I thought he was a really fun and funny guy. I was extremely nervous. I didn't know how he would be. I think at that time I had the locks, so I was curious to how he would receive me. But he said he wished he had my hair.
He has no hair.
He has no hair. Good guy. Tell me about this show.
It's on Pivot. It's just a nightly news show, and I host it with two other guys, one named Baratunde Thurston, another guy named Jacob Soboroff, and it's basically if MTV News still existed and they hired us to talk about the news and it's kind of like Crossfire-y. It's really fun. I like it a lot.
You like it a lot. We still exist there, Meghan.
MTV News does not still exist.
We do still exist. I go there every day.
You do?
Yeah.
Why aren't they more present? Why don't they do the debates anymore?
That's the politics.
Okay, sorry.
What are you digging up wounds right now?
Sorry.
I get it now. No,
it was
just
such an
joking.
integral part of my youth,
Right.
obviously. So I just wish they inspired me a lot when I was growing up. I just wish they still gave as much of a crap as they used to.
Jesus, what just happened there?
Because I think it's sad they don't do debates anymore.
Absolutely not. We don't. We haven't done them in a while. But a lot of reasons is a lot of the candidates don't want to do the debates. They don't want to come to the table and discuss the issues that are important to the MTV audience. But you know what? Perhaps you could ignite that whole movement again for MTV News. Maybe. All right. So what we want to do. So on your show, you talk about all the current topics. Obviously, this is Mike Muse.
Hello.
He's our guy here at Shade 4-5 with Sway in the morning.
How are
Great to meet you, Meghan.
Nice to meet you.
And,
It's fun in here.
you like it? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, some of the things that are in the news, Mike and I were just talking off air about Turkey.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so
Cavani.
Meghan, we've been talking about Turkey a lot and the whole ISIS situation. And so last week I mentioned that Turkey is going to be the ones to watch, right? And I say that every week a different country changes in regards to the ISIS discussion. With this week's events recently, what are your thoughts on Turkey recently bombarding the Kurdish army in the south region of Turkey? Do you think that helps? Does that hurt our movement as we try to advance and prohibit ISIS from moving forward? What's your thoughts on that?
I think we're failing with ISIS right now. And I just read this whole article on BuzzFeed, and it was talking about how all these Turkish women are being raped and basically used as sex slaves in the ISIS army. What's going on is the most godforsaken, horrific things that humanity has to offer. And I don't think we're doing enough. And I am petrified. I am in constant fear right now of ISIS attacking this country.
I think ISIS is the fear of everyone on top of everyone's minds right now.
ISIS
right?
And Ebola, right?
Yeah, I think everybody's topic right now. But in particular with Turkey, Turkey plays a pivotal position in this fight against ISIS, right? Because Turkey controls the border and they kind of control the influx of people coming in who people want to join the ISIS movement, right? And then they also have a pivotal point to assist or disintegrate in terms of Kurdish, right? And the thing about Turkey is they believe that their biggest enemy is the Kurdish army as well as Assad. They don't believe ISIS is their biggest threat, where the U.S. and some of our allies believe that ISIS and Assad is our biggest threat. So what is your position? Do you think Turkey needs to do more in regards to helping the NATO allies push back on ISIS, or do you think they're right to stand where they are in fighting Kurdish versus ISIS and Assad?
I think they're doing what they can. Again, I think if you read these articles right now, I think they're just trying to hold off ISIS on the borders right now. And my biggest concern right now is ISIS. Again, I only know what everyone else knows and read what everyone else reads. But I'm going to not try and judge the women that are being raped in Turkey too harshly about how they're dealing with it.
Yeah.
Okay,
What do you think?
I think that Turkey should play more of a pivotal role. I believe that they play an important part since they do sit on the border. I think that their priorities seem to be a little bit off in the sense of how they see Kurdish as more of a threat than ISIS and Assad. So I believe that we all need to work together to fight ISIS as the biggest threat globally, as well as trying to figure out ways to deal with Assad, but much later, though.
Would you do more than drone strikes?
I wouldn't put any boots on the ground, no. I believe that it's a danger if we put our own troops on the ground, and I think ISIS is such a...
Even though ISIS is still winning right now, and we're basically failing with our drone strikes.
I wouldn't say we're failing with the drone strikes. I think that we're failing, but ISIS is such a...
They're only growing stronger. Am I 8 miles away from Baghdad right now? Is that correct?
Damn.
No, they're 6 miles away from Turkey right now, and they are about to invade Baghdad, possibly. But the Allies believe that they do have a stronghold on Iraq and kind of keep in Baghdad. But the danger is, do we put boots on the ground? And if that is the case, then what do we do, right? Because his biggest issue is you can destroy them, and we can put 100,000 U.S. troops on the ground, but what happens once we destroy them? Do we believe they will come back, or do we believe we need to train these militants or other insurgents in the region to protect their own country versus us coming in every other 3 years?
And I think
and that's the challenge that we're facing.
Yes, and I believe we should have boots on the ground again, but I'm living in much more fear. I'm also my father's daughter, and he is debatably the biggest hawk in the Senate. And I don't know what the answer is. I don't think anyone knows what the direct answer is, but I do think we need to be doing more. And I am petrified. I love this city, New York, so much. Moved here when I was 18, and the idea of anything ever happening again is pretty much the most horrific thing I can imagine. More than Ebola.
That's Meghan McCain.
Having a very dense international policy conversation this morning with everyone. That's fantastic.
Meghan McCain is here. You want to talk to her and talk about her show? Take part live. Call us 888-742-3345. And want to talk about the Catholic Church up next. Sway in the morning. All right, Meghan McCain has joined us 44 minutes into the hour. You can find her on Take Part Live on Pivot TV.
Yes.
10 p.m. Eastern. Is this a daily show?
Yes, nightly. Yes. On Pivot.
Wow, so you're working hard.
I love it, but it is, I mean, as you all know in here, doing a daily show, it ain't no joke, man. It ain't for the weak of heart. It's intense, especially if you're talking about things like ISIS in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do it at nighttime. It's a little harder in the morning.
Right? We got B on the line from Atlanta. Good morning, B. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Thank you. We're doing well as well. Say hello to Megan. What would you like to say?
Good morning.
Hi, Megan. Good morning. I'm just currently on my commute to my job, and I'm hearing that you guys are talking about Turkey and ISIS. I am Turkish. I'm a Turkish American, actually, and spent my first 17 years there in Turkey. The ISIS situation that's going on and the Kurdish situation are completely different from each other. There are a lot of Turkish people in Turkey who are living peacefully. However, some of the Kurdish people, they're in the eastern part of Turkey, trying to create a Kurdish military. The ISIS situation is a recent situation that came about more recently, but it has been brewing for a while. They did take over the consulate, the Turkish consulate in Iraq, and we still have about 30 people that they're holding, Turkish people. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the Turkish politics, Turkish politics couldn't do enough. Therefore, we asked for help from the United States. So we do stand united with the American politics in the ISIS situation. Mm-hmm. And I wish that we could have done more in Turkey, but there's just not much that can be done. It's a very, very tight and crisis situation that's going on.
B, let us ask you a question.
Do you still have family in Turkey?
Absolutely, I do, yes. I'm from the west side of Turkey, the Aegean, Izmir, so I do, yeah.
What are they telling you?
They're telling me, I'm getting married soon, and they're telling me that maybe it's not a good idea to honeymoon in the Mediterranean region of Turkey, because they're scared of an American Turkish person coming there, and being taken.
That's
crazy.
interesting. Yeah, that's real.
If I can kind of just, thank you for calling in, but I want to address the issue. You're right. There are three separate issues, but the issue that we're having right now is that Turkey is using the Kurdish forces in Syria in order to go against ISIS. And so the coalition is arming and advancing and training the Kurdish coalition in Syria in order to advance and fight ISIS. And what Turkey just did this week is that they went and attacked the Kurdish army or a Kurdish region in the southern area of Turkey, which borders Syria. So that is a challenge in terms of what is Turkey's strategy, because it isn't clear what their strategy is. It's not clear if they're going to get the Kurds, ISIS, or Assad, where they say Assad is the enemy, ISIS is the enemy, and the Kurds are the enemy, but they're not acting tactically or letting us know what their priorities are. The rest of the world believes that the priority should not be attacking the Kurds, who are helping to advance us in ISIS, which Meg and I were talking about earlier, in the sense of the reason why American troops are on the ground. And what we're doing is we're using insurgents in the region in order to protect their own region,
and
because we can't keep, and drone strikes, because we can't keep going back into these countries every other year to be big brother and save them.
And again,
so that's the challenge with Turkey.
What we were and what you and I were debating is the presence America should have, because I believe as the only superpower that we do have a responsibility to stop what's going on in the Middle East. And debatably, I mean, again, I just from what I can gather, you and I probably have ideological differences, that I believe that leaving Iraq and removing our troops from Iraq has led to the insurgent or the extremists taking over right now. So
I don't think we have ideology differences. I don't know which ideology is, and I don't know if I've expressed my ideology.
Difference of opinions. How about that?
All right. Well, we got O'Shea on the line from Illinois.
Sorry, how about
O'Shea.
Thank you, Sway in the morning, man. We gotta lighten this up. We gotta lighten this up, man.
Yo, O'Shea. That's why I put you on the air, man. Go ahead.
That's a good look. Hey, yo, Miss McCain. I'm just hoping that your beautiful ass stays on the air every single night. I'm up there tweeting you and calling in. I'm going to get through one of these times. I'm your new secret admirer.
Thank you very much. What's your name?
It's O'Shea. He hung up. He said what he had to say.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Mike Muse, you and I were talking about the Catholic Church and a new position that they've taken about in regards to gays and lesbians.
Yes.
You want to...
Yeah, so just to bring everybody up to speed, this week, Pope Francis, he is doing some incredible things in terms of agitating the conversation, advancing conversation of what is a Catholic Church and what should it be in our society. He's really advancing a lot of social issues. Recently, they had a conference this week, and out of the conference came up an article or proposal, if you will, in terms of how the Catholic Church should view the stance on gays, as well as Catholics who've been divorced. That's been the issue too as well, because the whole issue is there are gay Catholics, we can't deny that, and that there are Catholics who are divorced, we can't deny that too as well. But it's a situation of how the church treats them once they come into the church. And they have lost a lot of Catholics because of that. So they issued a statement saying that we should recognize them as values and human beings. And so I guess our question for you, Megan, is just like, what are your thoughts on the Catholic Church position right now? Let's be clear, it's not going to be the doctrine of the church, but...
I love this Pope. I think he's living in reality in a very different way than maybe the last Pope was, much like political administrations. It seems to be a new wave. I actually read this article recently, was talking about how the GOP should follow the Pope, meaning just like accept gay marriage and just sort of live in the real world. So I'm all for it. I think traditional Catholics are going to lose their minds, but I appreciate it. What about you?
Yeah, I think so too. I think this Pope is fantastic. And I think the Catholic Church has always been the focal point of what Christianity is. And I believe that Christianity kind of follows the Catholic Church's lead. And so I'm really happy to see that the Catholic Church is having these conversations and advancing this narrative.
Again, we'll see if the church follows, but I definitely think it's a positive move.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm talking both.
No, you're talking to all of us. I'm conducting other things, but I'm
they
listening.
always do their own sign language thing, so don't let it distract you, Megan.
Well, plus we spoke about this the other day. We were expressing our views and opinions too. But I also want to ask you about, Ferguson has been a hot topic in our country as of late with the shooting death of Michael Brown and the unrest that's going on in that region. Where were you when you first found out about Michael Brown being shot and killed?
I was up in CBS at my studio on my show, and it was breaking news, or it was right when it started breaking on the news. We actually talked about it before the mainstream media really started following it, and it's horrific. It's very Trayvon Martin-esque, and it's a tragedy. And I think that we are ignoring something that is going on in this country. That there's still underlying racial tensions that I think we pretend to ignore because we have a black president.
Did you discuss it? Well, you said racial tensions we tend to ignore because we have a black president. Is that what you said?
I think people think we live in a post-racial society sometimes just because we did elect the first black president, and I don't think that's the case at all. And I think there's a lot of socioeconomic issues going on. I am not an expert in racial tensions in America. I just have my opinions. And I think it's a tragedy, and I think it really, the Ferguson case especially has really opened something up in a dialogue in the American public that I think is very important.
Have you spoken to your dad about it, just in conversation, or
about Ferguson? No, we talk a lot about ISIS and foreign policy stuff a lot, but I did not talk to him about Ferguson. But we did a lot of stuff about it on my show and interviewed a lot of people that were part of the protest and on the ground there, and it was like a war zone, when they were calling into us, and one gentleman was on his cell phone videotaping himself, and it looked like Baghdad.
It looked like Baghdad, right? I'm sure you guys talk about ISIS. I'm sure you talk about the president and the job he's doing. If you had to give him a report card on a scale of 1 through 10, how would you rate him? And what do you think his highlights have been? And what do you think his downfalls have been?
These are hard questions for me to answer because, again, I'm assuming we disagree. To some people, Obamacare is a highlight. To me, it's a low point. I think the president is trying very hard. I think he has disappointed a lot of people, and I am one of the people he's disappointed. I'm disappointed in him, and I think for whatever reason he can't get beside himself to make hard, tough choices, and I think he tries to please too many people.
So what would you rate him?
1 through 10. 1 to 10. I don't know. Maybe a 6. I don't know. Not very terribly high.
Yeah.
But not Carter low.
Not
either.
Carter low?
Not Carter low.
All right. Meghan, thank you for stopping by. I just want to get your opinions on things.
Thank you so much, everyone.
You were great, Meghan.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, yeah.
And take part live on Pivot TV, 10 p.m. Eastern. It's a nightly show, Monday through Friday?
Yes, Monday through Friday.
Okay, then you have to come back.
Yes, anytime. Thank you so much.
Meghan McCain, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mike Muse. And then you want to put a question out for the listeners?
Yeah, I just have a question just to get the listeners' opinion with all that's happening with the Catholic Church. The Supreme Court is coming down with saving marriage equality. You have Apple and you have Facebook allowing women to freeze their eggs right now. Do you believe that this is good for America, or do you believe that America is losing its moral fiber? So hit me up on Twitter at I am Mike Muse, as I am Mike Muse, M-U-S-S-M-E. Like me on Facebook, and find me on Instagram at I am Mike Muse.
And then Meghan, if people want to reach you, how can they reach you?
At Meghan McCain on Twitter.
There it is. Meghan McCain. Pretty simple, man. Meghan McCain. Great to see you again.
You so
have
much.
to come back, okay?
Anytime.
And I'll go to MTV after I get done here, and I'll talk to him about the news thing.
Meghan McCain's mad.
Okay, all right.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.